Right, let's start today's session. So in the last session of .NET, we were discussed basics of .NET introduction we completed. Then in the last session, we created a console application. First, let me open that existing console application. Further, you just open Visual Studio 2019 editor tool. And in the left-hand side panel, you will be able to see this last session project .NET at 7:30. It's a folder name and console app one is application name. Just click over there and you'll be able to get this existing application with classes. And we discussed in the last session how to prepare console application and how to add classes to existing console application and to run proper program, how to change startup object also we discussed. Okay, we just deal with some basic examples how to print what we can say string values and integer values like this. So welcome to Durgasoft is a string. And in this program also we just given integer values. We just declare two integer values. Int a equals to 100 and b equals to 200. We are printing the values here. Value of a is something, value of b is something. You can also print values in index basis like a and b. So even we started with the program how to accept value at runtime. So this is the program in the last session what we discussed. Enter name and string s. I'm just storing the name into string variable s and console.write read line and your name is so and so. Let's flip to run. Now it will ask the name which is enter at runtime. Just I'm entering the name and your name is so and so like this. So this program is showing clearly how to accept the string value at runtime. But my requirement is I would like to check whether your input is stored inside the variable or not. So how to check? So I want to check inside the s variable the value is going to store or not. To check that, I just recommend to keep breakpoint. So here you just click with mouse and automatically this red circle will be there. And this is called breakpoint. Breakpoint means just checking line by line execution. Okay, or else we can call it as debugging or tracing. So after keeping breakpoint, what we need to do, just click on run as usual, or else press F5 from your keyboard. I'm just going to execute this and look at here. Once you keep breakpoint and just place mouse pointer on this S. Right now S is holding null value because we have not supplied any value. If you want to move forward, okay, if you want to proceed continuation of execution, then you just press from your keyboard function key plus F11. You have to press keep on function key plus F11 line by line execution purpose. I'm just going to press function key plus F11. It will ask immediately enter a name. So I'm just enter a name called Durgasoft, for example. Durgasoft is a name. Press enter. As soon as when we press enter, your input is going to store inside the variable yes. Look at here, S is holding Durgasoft. And after that, if you want to proceed again, press function key F11 and it will give the output clearly. Well, your name is so and so Durgasoft. So this is the way to check whether value is going to store inside the variable or not. But here this program is clearly indicates that to accept string value at runtime. But now I want to accept integer value at runtime. Okay, how to accept integer value at runtime? Let's try to do this one simple program. So this program is just for adding two numbers. Okay, it's very simple and straightforward. But in this context, there is a problem. What problem? I'll tell you. Look at here, svm static void main. Okay, so here I'm declaring a, b, c, three variables. A value 10, b value 20, and c equals to a plus b. And I would like to print a c value. Okay, sum is where the sum value is going to store c. And finally to stay vector string console.read. Simple program, not a complex. I took three variables a, b, c. A value first number and b value second number. A plus b adding two numbers and c is the result. Okay, but here I'm not at all accepting these two variable values a and b values at running time. that you have to notice. Let me run this first by changing its startup object. Go to Solution Explorer, double click on Properties and expand Startup Object class 4 and click on Save it and then run it. So once you run, then what will happen, you can see once you execute and sum is that it's coming. Okay, yes. But sir, similarly, how we accepted previously values at runtime. So I would like to accept this integer values at also at runtime. Inside the program values already given, then that values are added clearly, no issues at all. But I would like to accept these values at runtime. Okay, how to accept? As usual, we can write console.readline, but it will not work out here. Why it will not work out, I will tell you. Look at here, console.readline. Console.readline. In previous program, I accept string value, console.readline perfectly work. But in this program, I'm accepting values at runtime, and that's what I'm using console.readline, but it's not working. Why? Why? Because in C#.NET console application especially, whatever the values you are entering at a running time means at the time of executing program, if you enter values at runtime at execution time, that values are by default treated as string format. What format? String format. Okay, so that's what here also it is going to treat it as string. You are accepting runtime values, but look at here what is happening here. Cannot implicitly convert type string to integer. That meaning is what? By default, when we enter values at runtime, whichever the numbers are something float or character, whatever it is, by default it treat them as string, but you declare as an integer here. But running time cannot be convert from string to integer. Okay, implicit conversion is not possible. Implicitly by program itself, it will not. So explicit conversion is possible. Explicit means as a programmer, you have to convert that string into integer. You have to convert that string into integer. How to convert? Yes, to convert from string to integer, there are two options are there. Okay, to convert from string to integer, one is convert dot to int method is there. Convert dot to int method. Next one, int dot parse method is there. Int dot parse method. Convert dot to int method is there. Int dot parse method is there. But which is the best? Yes, both we can use, but I will show you clear difference between what is this convert dot to int dot parse. So here what is happening, sir? We are accepting values at runtime, and before that, let me just display some statement. Enter two numbers. Okay, yes, enter two numbers. I'm just giving clarity. Enter two numbers. Enter two numbers. And implicit conversion is not possible, so that's what explicit conversion is required. From programmer side, you have to convert from string to integer. To convert from string to integer, we have two options: convert dot to int and int dot parse. This is called typecasting method, and I can use both. Later example, I'll show you what is the difference between convert dot to int and int dot parse. Look at here, I'm taking first convert dot to int. I'm taking, but look at here, to int also there is a range: 16, 32, 64, uint 16, uint Unicode, unsigned integer, signed integer. Like I'll explain this range in coming examples. Meanwhile, let me take convert dot to int 32. It's a medium range of values inputs. Now go for this one. This will work fine now. Okay, yes. So let's go for convert dot to int 32 of console dot read line. Convert dot to int 32 of console dot read line. I'm taking this. So this program is going to work now. Okay, let's run this one. Enter two numbers. I'm just giving 14. Oh, my input is wrong. Just give me 1 second. E value, B value, converter to 32. Yes, I'm equal to 0. What is this problem? So there is no startup object change. Sorry for that. I have to change startup object compulsory. Class 4 only, no? Yes, it's correct. Okay, enter two numbers. First number, yes, 14. Oh, 14. And second number, 12. Then we can see sum is 26. It's coming. Okay, so by default, these values are treated as string. but we convert them into integer, and it will convert integer and stored into what actually some values are performing. 14 plus 12, 26 is coming. And even you can see in this case, not only convert dot to int, we can also use int dot parse. Both will work fine. Instead of convert dot to int, I'm using int dot parse. Int dot parse method I'm using. Here I'm taking int dot parse method. Here I'm taking int dot parse method again. Int dot parse. You can use int dot parse and convert dot to int. Anyone. Now 66 is coming. Is it? Yeah. So it will work fine. But now I would like to show you the exact difference between convert dot to int and int dot parse. What is the difference between convert dot to int and int dot parse? For showing difference, just I'll take one simple example. Now add class 5 and main method svm double tap, automatically main method generate, and string s equals to 100 and take just 100 value. Do you think it is string? Yes. The value which is enclosed within the double quotes, that by default string, that's what I declare as s as a string. But I want to convert this string into integer format. To do that, we can apply two functions, convert dot to int as well as int dot parse, so that I can show clear difference here. Okay, so console dot write line, console dot write line. This is the output statement. Console dot write line of convert dot to int 32 of yes. I would like to convert that s value. Even here console dot write line, console dot write line of int dot parse. Both I am applying. So which is that? What is the difference exactly? You'll come to know that. So I'm taking console dot read, console dot read. Okay, both are I'm using int dot parse of yes only. Yes, s value you have to supply. I declared yes as a string. If it convert from string to integer, what is the result? 100 for convert dot to int, it successfully convert from string to integer, and one more 100 for int dot parse. So you will get 100 and another 100 separately for two statements. So that indicates that both methods, convert dot to int method as well as int dot parse method, both are going to successfully convert from string to integer. So we got the result absolutely 100, 100. Yes or no? Yes. So clearly 100, 100 value is coming. It's okay, no issues at all. But what is the main difference? In this case, both are successfully converting from string to integer. But to know the difference, okay, to know the difference, I'm just changing code. Let's comment it. And string s equals to null. I'm just representing my string is null. In string case, I'm saying null, null. But same, if you convert that null to integer case, then it should be a 0. But how many zeros should come actually? 2 zeros should come actually. Why? Because two methods are there, no? Both methods convert dot to int. But you will get only 1 0 in output case, because the reason is only convert dot to int method will successfully convert from null to 0, and int dot parse will not accept null. So unable to convert from null to integer, value cannot be null in this case. So this is exactly difference. So you can see this error is coming, exception is coming, but one output is there like 0. You are looking in the output window 0. This 0 is because of only convert dot to int, but this error is, look at here, int dot parse line is showing error, exception. Value cannot be null. Okay, so what is the exact difference? Difference between convert dot to int and int dot parse method is convert dot to int method will convert successfully from string to integer as well as null to integer. But whereas int dot parse method only convert from string to integer, but if your value is null, it's unable to convert. It cannot convert null to integer. This is the difference. But if you really wants to convert from string to integer, then you can use both methods. Either you can use convert dot to int, or you can use int dot parse. Anyone you can use, no issues at all. Okay. But if at all you want to convert from null to integer, don't go for int dot parse. You have to go for convert dot to int. So this is the main difference you have to observe. And next, go back to previous program. Let's go back to previous program. I'm just going to this program. In this program, observe here, I'm just changing start of object to show some important thing in this program, class 4. Okay, we are using enter two numbers. We are making integer type and into dot parse is okay. But in this case, if I give my input is something float like this, for example, float value something 12.4. I want to add two floating numbers adding, so it's not possible. The input string was not correct in a format. It raised exception because you declared as an integer data type, but you are expecting into float at runtime. It's not possible. So what we need to do, sir, again, still I want to convert that into to float means, yes, we have to use float dot parse. Okay, we have to use what, sir? Float dot parse. Float dot parse we have to use. But even if we use float dot parse, what is happening here? So here it is integer you declare. So I have to go for float. But actually, when we accept values at runtime, by default, that treated as string only. But that string values we need to convert into float. Float dot parse I'm doing. Now floating point and integer values both we can able to do it. Addition of two numbers 41.45 plus 25.12. We got this. Okay, it's clearly done. Understand? Suppose this is okay, clear, no issues. So let's go for same again. Convert dot to int method only I'm applying. So what is the difference between convert dot to int 16 and convert dot to int 32 and convert dot to int 64? There are different things are there. Okay, 16 is there, and also I'm taking convert dot. It is just because of range of values. Okay, what is the range? Also, I will tell you clearly. Convert dot to int 16 I'm taking. So to int 16. To int 16 means it is completely 16-bit signed integer. What is this? 16-bit signed integer. So whenever I take 2 int 16, then what is going to happen here? 2 int 16 means 16-bit signed integer. So we can able to handle with minimum values, not much more huge number of values. We can able to go for minimalize. So 2 int 16 can store uh, uh, range of values is this is. Let's write first range to int 16. To int 16 I'm taking. The range of values of 2 int 16 is what, minus 32 767 to plus 32 767. This is 2 int 16. Now I'm taking 2 int 32 is there. 2 int 32 method. 2 int 32 is what exactly? Yes, 2 int 32 is like this. Minus 2147 21474 83648. Yes, 83648. 2, then plus same value 212147483647 is the range. 2 in 16, 2 in 32, and 2 in 64 I'm taking. 2 in 64 range. 2 in 64 range is to what we can say large. 2 in 64, like for example 9. Okay, 223 372 036 854 775 808. Okay, 2, and this we have to copy completely. I'm just copying. Right, this is 7. You have to go for 7. These are the values. This is what huge number of values. So these are the range actually. Okay, so 2 into 32 is a maximum range here. 2 into 30, 2 into 16, 2 into 32 maximum values like this. If we give different values, okay, if we give different value, even if you want to get value also, we can able to get maximum value, minimum value also. We need not to go for this one. Okay, through programmatic also we can do it. I'll tell you how to get programmatic, but I'm taking 2 in 16 here. Okay, 2 in 16 I'm taking. My input is very small. Look at here, I'm just giving very small values. It's going to work out, no issues at all. Below, like this, I'm giving below. Like this. Is it okay? Yes, it's okay. We are getting values, some of the values. But observe here, whenever we exceeding the values, so 32,767, okay, maximum that is 32,767. But I'm giving 32,767, 32,767, and 32,767. So we got this value absolutely fine, no problem. For example, if I give, I'm just exceeding the value, 32,768, we'll get a invalid input. Values exceed, overflow exception is coming. Based on the range, then it is going to accept the numbers. So 32,767 is the maximum range for 16. More than that, you can't give. Let's give similarly, my input should be more than that. Okay, if my input is more than that, then also I have to convert that. So 32 I'm taking. 32 means what? This is the range, maximum range is this is only. So this many range of values we can able to give it, no issues at all as your input. So I'm giving my input is this one, and also my input is this one. Will it work or not? Yes, it is coming clear. Okay, it's going to be minus and minus. And now you can see if my range is, suppose it's not like this, it's exceeding more than that, like something we got another. It's not possible here. Sum of two values. So based on your given range, it will work. Suppose 64 I'm taking. 64 also will work. You can see 64 is somewhat different. 64 is not suitable for a minimum range of data type like integer. You declare integer a small range, okay, and you are asking them converting into large range. 2 in 64 is best suitable for double, not integer. Either you can decrease the range 16 or 32, or you can increase your data type also. I'm taking data type is double. Double type it's suitable for 64. So because range is too much here, this is the range actually for 2 in 64. When we give this and when we execute this one, now you can see double values happily can able to give the range within the limits the range. What is the range here? This is the range. Under this range if we give, then it will work fine, but more than that it will not work fine. But here one problem is there. If I took double is nothing but it's also related to floating point values and integer values will be considered. But if I give float in this case, when we work with 2 in 64, if I give my floating point numbers like 21 point something, it will give error. It's unable to do it. Because the thing is convert dot to double you have to use, not 2 in 64. We are going to use convert dot to double. To double I'm using. Here also I'm using convert dot to double. So it will work. To double. Let's run this and you can work with floating and any number of range of values according to your length of value. Now I'm giving here like this. It's going to work out fine. So this is the way to get completely here uh, uh, range of values. Even not only this, if you want to get range of data type clearly, what range is required, how to get range means we can have some methods. What method? For example, even I can go for in this program online will go console.writeLine, console.writeLine, console.writeLine. So max value of, of to int 16, for example, I want to get the max value of 2 in 16. How to get plus to int to int to int 16 dot max value to int to int to int 16 dot max. Okay, it's not coming. So why it's not coming? Let me check. Max value is not coming. Actually, I have to get. Let me check it once. No, it's not coming. There is one option is there actually to get maximum value and minimum value. No problem. I'll tell you size of function tree. I'll tell you later. No issues at all. But range is I would like to get the range of values by default. Okay, by using size function, maybe it's possible. No issues at all. So this is the range actually to in 16, 32, and 64. Based on this range of values only, we can get this. More than that, we cannot able to work on it. But there are basic data types are there in C#. .NET. What are the basic data types? The basic data types are int, float, char, bool, double, okay, and also what we can say uh, reference type like pointers. These are the basic data types. So let me just C#.NET data types. What are the basic data types? I'll cover here. Okay, within the simple example, I'll try to cover all the basic data types. What are there in C#.NET? So integer is there. Integer means just for working with small integer values, and float values are there. Float, and also double values are there. Double. So all are basic data types only. Int, float, all those things. You can get size values also here. You can get size values also. How to get size of particular data type we'll discuss. First we'll try to give int I equals to 10. Okay, float f equals to 23.4. But observe here, whenever we are going to deal with float values, compulsory how to use f representation. Here f representation. If you don't give f representation, then that will not work out. And double is not required actually. Double d equals to 45.6. Char c equals to character. I'm taking character a. And string s equals to, yes, string is group of characters. Okay, like this. We have long type also there. Long data type. Long l equals to long values. We can do that. Long values like this. Long value. Okay, you can represent L also, otherwise not required L, capital L or small L, we can represent, no required long values. So these are the basic data types. And bool also there here, bool b equals to, what is I'm taking true. So true, this is true, I'm taking true. Boolean type is what actually? True type? Yes, it's true type only. True I'm taking. Then if you want to print all this, then you can go for printing console.writeLine, I value I'm printing. Okay, then similarly I'm taking console.writeLine, all console.writeLine output statements I'm giving. Just observe here. Right. So here I for integer, f for float, and d for double type, and c is this character printing, and string s is for string value printing, and after that l is there for long, and b is there some bool b, and boolean I'm not getting properly. Just I want to go for true value only. True. This is correct. So let's try to print this. Okay, just only printing. So we have size function also to get which data type, how many bytes are going to occupy. Then that you want to get, then you can also get it. So we are getting all the values properly. Integer, float, double, string, and long, and what we can say string. But we have missed something like character, so we are not printing character. Console.writeLine, then character type is C. Okay, these are the basic and just oftenly used data types in C#. Other than this, we have other data types like reference type, object, and pointer. Okay, yes. Data types can be categorized into two things like value type and reference type will be there. Value type and reference. Value type means the value which is stored directly into the memory location, and reference type means the value which is stored, what we can say, other memory location instead of directly storing. These two under comes into CTS, common type system. Common system or data type system can be of two types. Okay, so value type and reference type. Value type means directly it will store the value inside a variable, that is value type. Reference type means it's going to store into other data type like reference type. According to these data types, it will occupy some memory like int 4 bytes and long 8 bytes, float 4 bytes, double 8 bytes, boolean 1 bit, character 2 bytes, string 2 bytes. But how do we get the size of the data type actually here? Okay, so to get the size of the data type, so we are declaring data type and variables and values, and we are printing them. But how do we get the size? Okay, size of the data type. So let's try to do this size of the data type. Console.write line uh, size size of int. I'm taking size of integer. So look at here, integer size is like this, 4 bytes. As we discussed, like integer is going to be occupied 4 bytes. And at the same time, if you want to go for uh, integer type here, let's like size in bytes. Okay, yes, comma size of integer. At the same time, let's copy this statement and just get into float different data types. I want to go for size of float and size of double and size of character and size of what we can say string. String is not actually size we cannot able to get because it depends on the string type. We cannot able to do it. But instead of that, we can go for character long type. I'll go for long data type is there long. Okay, character and actually string is 2 bytes per character it is, but we cannot go for string because we don't have string. Based on string it will be there. String is 2 bytes per character, it will be occupied. So let's try to this one, and I'm taking bool type. Actually it's not a byte, it is bit, 1 bit for bool. True means and 1 means like this, true and false. So we are not getting size in bytes. Why? What's the reason? We are using comma. This is not work out in this C#.NET language. Maybe it will work out in Python, but we have to use plus symbol. Concatenation is required. That's what we are not able to get any output clearly. So concatenation through will get. Okay, concatenation. This is concatenation. Now we'll get. But bool is not in bytes format. Bool is 1 byte only. Store true or false values. That is 1 byte, 1 bit it is. It's not a byte. So this is 8 for what actually? Long. 2 bytes character, 8 bytes double, and 4 bytes float, integer 4 bytes. This is the cases actually here. So these are just basic examples which is related to data types. But only the thing is these data types are basic data types, and even reference types also there. But reference type we'll discuss in coming session how to handle with reference type. Reference means the value which is going to store inside other variable, not in direct variable. Okay, so these are the data type and its size and conversion specification in C#.NET from integer to float, float to int like this. Okay, so this is about today. Then tomorrow we'll continue a new topic I'll discuss tomorrow. That is what we can say control statements. We'll discuss control statements means so many control statements are there, like uh, if condition, if else, nested if. Okay, for loop, nested for loop, while loop, do while loop, switch case, break statement, continue, all those things. These are the logical part. Once we complete that logical part in C#.NET, then we'll go for arrays and object-oriented programming, all those things. Because these are the basics are important for every programmer. So that's what I'm covering, all basics. Even all that already you know, no matter, it's required to handle these control statements in C#.NET also. Control statements are very important in every programming language, not only in the context of C#. Okay. So we'll discuss in tomorrow, and please try to register immediately as soon as possible so that you will get recording videos, whatever I discussed so far. All recorded videos you will get, and along with the soft copy of material. For that, you can contact the Durga sub team. Then they will assist you how to register all those things. Okay. Yes. So do you
Sir,
have
I
any?
have already registered, but I didn't get videos, sir. Since
No
3 days.
problem, no problem. Yeah, I'll collect mail IDs from Durga's app now only.
Okay,
After half an hour, you can check the videos and material. Okay.
okay. So I have a doubt. Can I share the screen first?
No, no. Right now you can't share the screen. Do one thing. So later, once registration process completed, and our team will give a short link. When you
Okay.
get short link, then from there onwards, I'll allow you to share the screen because the control is not in my hand. They are going to
Uh,
operate it from office. That's what. If you get short link, then that every control is in my hand. Then I can give the option to you.
okay, okay, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll see you tomorrow at same time. Have a nice day.